and-stopped man she met at summer camp as a kid from k.illing himself, then married him 9 years later. When Blake Walsh met Kevin at a summer camp, she could never have guessed that they would one day end up as husband and wife, or that she'd end up saving his life. In July 2002, when they were both 13, the pair struck up a friendship during an archery session, and though Blake, from Michigan, U.S., wasn't interested in him romantically, he was instantly smitten. They stayed in touch afterwards on AOL Messenger and by phone, but they hadn't spoken for around a year when, in 2007, their relationship suddenly became a lot deeper. Kevin, now a 28-year-old engineer, explained, "I had just broken up with a girlfriend after an intense relationship that had isolated me from a lot of friends. I was only 17 and had got really down and decided that the only answer was to kill myself." He spent a month planning it before driving out to a remote place in his home state Indiana where he decided to go through with it. But as he parked, he noticed his mobile phone ringing, and was surprised to hear Blake's voice when he picked up. He told how he immediately felt better talking to her, but when Blake said she was on a school trip and would phone him tomorrow for a longer talk, Kevin explained that he wasn't planning to be around then. "Saying that I planned to kill myself out loud for the first time made me realize what a stupid idea it was," he said. And when Blake just said, "Don't do that. That would be terrible," I knew there was no way I was going to carry out my plan. That conversation with Blake completely snapped Kevin out of any thoughts of suicide, and that day changed his life forever. Over the years the two kept in touch, even when they dated other people. Blake, now 28 and studying law, explained, "People would ask what the deal was between Kevin and me, but I always just said we were friends. I had no idea he had feelings for me, and although we had this great connection, I never thought it was more than that." Kevin admitted, "I never stopped thinking about Blake and I always felt so grateful to her for phoning me at just the right time to talk me out of what would have been such a stupid waste of life that would have caused so much distress to my family." At one point, Kevin went out with a girl who didn't want him talking to Blake, so there was no contact between them for 2 or 3 years until September 2015, when Kevin messaged Blake on Facebook apologizing for disappearing. At the time Blake was in a serious relationship herself and was planning to move across the country to live with her boyfriend. But a couple of months later in November 2015, things changed again. "All of a sudden, my boyfriend broke it off with me," Blake recalled. "I told Kevin how upset I was, and that I'd taken time off work to move house and I couldn't get the leave back. I was so touched when he offered to hang out with me to cheer me up, and I went to visit him. We had a great time and it struck me what a kind friend he was." A month later they met up again, and this time Kevin confessed he'd always loved Blake and that he'd love her forever. In that moment, Blake realized she had feelings for him too. "I'd known him all my life, we knew everything about each other and there was so much trust and love there," she said. "It sounds crazy but we immediately started talking about getting married. We were staying in a hotel and we used the little notebook by the side of the bed to plan out our wedding day." The pair began officially dating and Blake met Kevin's family for the first time. Then a few months later in April 2016, Kevin proposed in Switzerland, having designed a ring himself. "People were surprised by how quickly we got engaged, but we knew deep down that it was right," said Blake. "It had been staring me in the face for years and I hadn't realized." Kevin's family already knew how special Blake was to him, but it was only after they got engaged that he confessed to them how Blake had actually helped save his life when they were teenagers. In September 2016, the couple got married in an intimate ceremony on a farm in front of 20 guests, followed by a party of 70 later. Now they've been happily married for just over a year and are looking forward to their future together. Blake said, "I am just incredibly glad that I happened to call Kevin and that I saved his life. And now that he's my husband, I'm so grateful that fate intervened and got us together." You can follow Kevin and Blake on Instagram. Last month Sun online columnist Deborah James launched a campaign to encourage more men to open up about mental health. Around 6,000 people take their own lives in the UK every year, and 3/4 of these deaths are men, according to mental health charity Mind.